I've got my notes and
rolling. Oh,
everything.
you brought
I've
notes and
got notes. I
everything.
wrote some notes here. Yes, they're very highly detailed. Not really.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Um,
So, because today we're talking about Dune.
it's
The
Doomsday.
it's
D-
it's Dune thing cast. That's how
Dune.
I pitched it. Was
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said to you, I'm like, this is gonna be such a dumb thumbnail. I can already see it. Um, so I was curious because
Mhm.
how did like what was your kind of exposure to this property? Like, were you watching the
Sure.
movies in theaters as they were coming
Um,
out? I know you've read some of the books. Like, what?
yeah, yeah. So I watched the first movie, part one, Dune
Hmm.
part one. I think we saw it, or I saw it with a couple our cousins,
Hmm.
and including Josh was visiting briefly.
Oh yeah.
Um, and he had read a bunch or all
Oh
the books
yeah.
at that point, so he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
super excited.
Hmm.
And I knew very little about it other than
Hmm.
uh, surface level stuff. Um, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. I want to know more. So then I
Hmm.
started reading the books after that.
Yeah,
So
I would have figured because there was about, was it 2 years or three
yes,
years between?
2 years, I think, something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
And
between the
then
two movies.
yeah, so I'd read the first book or two by yeah, I think the first couple books by part two. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, and I really like the movies. I don't have a
Yeah.
hot take necessarily. I think they're really good.
Oh yeah, no, me
Um,
as well. Yeah. Well, something I noticed, I was like, well, this just feels like a real movie. Like,
yeah,
just like
right.
like it's just very
Yeah.
immersive, the way that, like, and I'm not thinking so much, and I know that it's using combinations of practical effects and CGI and that
Hmm.
kind of thing, but it's all just at the height of its like ability,
Yes.
and just looks real no
Hmm.
matter what it is, and so I'm just in it and I'm not thinking about it actually in a good way,
Yeah, yeah.
just like how I would with older movies
You're
and
just
the whole
immersed in the
what.
story. You're just immersed in the story and the world and stuff.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
And I watched this on like DVD at home,
Yeah,
like, and
yeah.
while like exclusively while like rocking a baby, and so like it was like between the hours of like 10:30 and like 5 a.m. when I'm watching this in like different chunks too. So that was my experience with
Right.
watching these two movies. So there's some stuff that I'm a little hazy on,
Yeah. Yeah, they're
especially in part two,
sure.
where I was a little confused about some motivations and stuff. So maybe you could help me with that. But
Sure.
like, I
Yeah.
think I got it because I rewatched a couple of scenes and
Hmm.
things just to like
There
kind
is
of
a
get it
lot of
all.
world building and
Hmm. Yeah.
characters and stuff that they
Oh
just kind
yeah.
of throw at you, and you sort of pick it
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
as you
Oh,
go,
I
which
like
I
it though.
like.
I kind of like
Hmm.
that better than
Hmm.
like, I like the like keep up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think if I was a working director right now, I would have a similar approach to Villeneuve because he's a very visual director. He's like
Hmm.
specifically has said that he doesn't like doing dialogue to explain things,
Hmm.
and it's just like you just get it. Like, you're just
Yeah.
like watching it. It's like, oh, I get what that thing is because you just showed me.
Hmm.
And I don't like, I'm not one of those like in the Superman video, I'm not particularly like lore obsessed. I'm like, oh, that's just their world's version of that thing.
Yeah.
I don't need to know more.
Hmm.
I'm just interested in the characters and what's going to happen to them. And so um yeah, so
Hmm.
which one do you prefer? Because that was the one
Um.
thing I
Yeah.
also texted you was my
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it's a hot take because they're both just
They're
really
both
good,
very
right?
good.
So
I like
yeah.
them both. And
Yeah.
it is kind of hard to judge them independently because it is very
Oh, for
much like,
sure.
oh, this
Hmm.
is the first half of the story, and then the second
Yeah.
one is the second half of the story.
Yes, for
So,
sure.
um,
Hmm.
I do lean towards the second one just because that's when a
Hmm.
lot of stuff like
Oh yeah,
really starts happening, and
yeah. People start
things
throwing hands.
people start throwing hands, things get really kicked into 12th gear, and but yeah, the first one of course is also great, and I
Yeah.
like that it really takes its time to kind of
Hmm.
build up
Yes,
everything
yes.
too.
And
So
that's I think that's what I particularly really liked about the first one, is because I didn't know like anything kind of like
hmm
I knew kind of what you would have known before watching it, like just like a couple surface level things, and like I'd seen some memes of like Sandy riding the worm in SpongeBob, and it's
right,
like
yeah,
Dune Part 2, and they put the like score over top
yeah,
of it, so it's like, wow.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
I'm like, oh, that
like
sounds like a Hans Zimmer
yeah,
score.
like getting to the scene where he rides the worm in part
Yeah.
two, and it hits, is so
Yeah.
satisfying. So like, and you know, that kind of stuff where you're like, you just briefly see that that's even a thing that happens in the first one, and then part two you get to see it happen and you're like, this is awesome. So stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah, no,
that
there's a lot of stuff in part
is
two. I'm like,
and
okay,
like part of it
that's
was the wait too. I
hmm
think because like watching part one you're like, this is cool, where's it going? um
yeah, yeah. But
Also,
I
this is
like, I
clearly the
think I,
first half of a story, so I'd like to see the
yes,
rest of it, and then
yeah,
getting to
I
see the
think,
rest
yeah.
of it
I really
is
like this style. I think I might, I'm gonna definitely rewatch them both at
mhm,
some point. But right now I lean towards part one because I think I just like the structure better,
mm,
where it's like there's a lot of it is almost very like it's been compared to Game of Thrones, I think, in some ways, and I think that's
mhm,
kind of an interesting thing. But anyway, it's it's whatever. All stories are
yeah,
like other stories, but it's like
yeah,
I
yeah,
like that there's like there's like kind of these politics and these factions that they're kind of setting up or whatever, and like it goes for about like an hour of that, and I was like. I was happy just like learning about that, being
mhm.
interested in that. But then like it all just goes to shit about halfway
Oh
through,
yeah,
and it like comes out of nowhere, especially not knowing
right.
what the story is or what's gonna happen. Like I was just like blown away by like I really like that kind of story where people are kind of on the run and have very limited resources, especially coming from somewhere where they had a lot of
Hmm.
allies and resources. This like rich prince is just like chucked into
Yeah,
like the middle of the
yeah,
desert, and he has to like use his like limited knowledge that he like read in his he's like, I
yeah.
read this in a
I
book,
read
we have
this
to
in a
walk
book.
like this so we
Yeah,
don't die.
yeah.
I hope we do it
I
right.
hope we do it
Like,
right.
but then Channy tells him later that he's not doing it right,
No.
so there just weren't worms around then, I
Yeah,
guess,
he just
when
got
they were
lucky
doing that. They
basically.
just weren't there.
Yeah. I I also would recommend watching the 80s Dune.
Oh yeah.
It's not good, but
Oh no,
it
no.
is a
Yeah.
fascinating movie.
Yeah.
And
It looked really
it
interesting. I've
look it
seen
makes
some
some
reviews. Yeah.
weird choices.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parts that like in that scene, like they do that scene where he's like, you gotta walk without rhythm, and then he's just like, and then they're just like walking normally. I'm like, you're not doing anything. So there's like,
Come on, the captain, you got
yeah,
this.
come, you gotta. It's so there's a lot of weird stuff, like that, but it is fascinating just because it's such a strange movie.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
what was I saying?
And then yeah,
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
was
go, yeah.
so though my notes here for Dune 2 versus Dune 1 is that I think
Hmm.
there's better setup and payoff for like Paul's skills in Dune 1, where you
Mm,
establish a few things that he's learning and then he has to use them all to like not die at some point.
right.
So he like is like learning how to like sword fight, and then like there's that one lady who makes him put his hand in a box, and then he like has to like use the voice later to like
Hmm.
escape from a thing, and then they have to use the sand walking, and so I got that all here. And then in Dune 2, I feel like there's just a lot more things that he kind of learns and develops, and he uses almost none of them to overcome the villains at the end. Except I
Mm.
do think it's cool that I think he beats Faye. Is that the crazy
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
name?
Fade Rotha.
Fade.
Yeah.
I think he beats him using the thing that Josh Brolin shows him in the first one.
Yeah, basically he
Where he's
does.
got it's like because
Where he's like,
like,
"Oh,
oh,
I
I'm getting
got
you at the
you."
neck, but
He's
he's like,
like,
no,
"Ah,
I
but
got
I
you
got you."
underneath them.
Yeah.
So it's like he got him in a way where he didn't see it, and they
Yeah.
don't even show it, which
Hmm.
is really cool as well.
Yeah, he
Um,
basically found a way where he's like, if I take a stab in a non-lethal way here, I can stab him. And
yes, yes, and
there's a brief
I
moment
think it's a
earlier.
callback to the thing that Josh Brolin
Yeah.
shows him in Dune 1 when they're training.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
it's that because these movies are very well made, and so
Hmm.
I would hope that it's that, because I don't know how that goes down in the
Yeah.
book. If it's
Uh
sword fights and things are probably, you take a lot of liberties in movies
yeah.
versus books.
Yeah, they're different, but they're cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that's intentional, but I think there's also a moment in part two when he's like, I see, a narrow path, and he has like, there's like a brief glimpse
Mm.
of the knife stab.
Oh, so can he do like the Sherlock Holmes thing
Yeah,
to
where
like?
I think he
Mhm.
saw himself getting stabbed in a way that would be non-lethal to him.
Right,
So
right.
he's like, if I can get the fight to that point, then I can
Oh no,
win.
I know how to. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so is that
So
something explored more in the book, or is that something they said in the movie? Because I can't remember specifically.
that's just my assumption of watching the movie a
Oh,
couple
okay,
times
got it.
where like
Yeah,
he
yeah, and that's the thing too, is
yeah.
there's a lot of things in this where it's just like, oh, like I wrote a whole skit making fun of this, but I think it's actually really
Yeah.
cool. Where it's like they're like, I'm like, wait, why doesn't anyone use guns? And it's like, oh, because they all have force fields, and
Yeah.
the only thing that works on the force fields is like very specific weapons, and most of them are swords. And so it's the future, but everyone uses swords. I'm like, I'm on board with that. Sword fighting's way cooler.
Yeah, yeah. It's cooler. You get it's more intimate.
Yeah.
There's some cool
Yeah.
sword fights in this.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I like it. Yeah, it is very like convoluted world building to justify using swords
Oh
again,
yeah,
but I
well,
like
in a
it.
movie though, they just show you like people using the force fields and using
Mhm.
the swords, and you just have to kind of roll
Yeah,
with
you
it.
kind of
You
put
know,
it
there's no
together.
like, here's the history of the universe and
Yeah.
why we blah blah blah. I'm like that. Yeah, I don't need that. I'm
Mhm.
cool. I'm good with this. I also in my notes here I have for two. I felt like I wanted to get more of a sense that Paul helping the Fremen actually made a big enough difference to necessitate a regime change.
Mm.
Why
That's
is it that him specifically
him
helping them?
specifically
Yeah, he's
changes
just
their
some guy who
tactics and
barely
stuff
knows how to do Fremen things.
because
Like I thought that
he is
it
the
might be
Lisan
more
Al
clear in the
Gaib.
book, and then it's like Dave Bautista, you're not doing a good enough job. I need a crazy guy to
Yeah.
get the work done
Right.
because of Desert Mouse.
Because of the Desert Mouse.
Desert Mouse has
Muad'Dib.
become notorious for
Yeah.
blowing up helicopters.
That's fair. In the book, they do a time jump, so we see even less of like what's made a difference.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
So,
Maybe they do it even better then.
yeah, like that was my.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, that is fair because it does seem like the Fremen are mostly holding their own. For
Yeah,
like,
and I don't know why one guy who's like just learned how to.
I think the idea is that starts because he's starting to want.
So he can see the future more.
He
Like,
can-
would that?
That's
would be
part
a
of
cool
it.
way
He
doing
has.
But it's like if Dave Bautista has like a war room scene, and he's like, anytime I try something, it's like they're waiting for us.
Yeah.
It's like they're anticipating our every move. That would be cool.
Yeah, that's like
I think.
sort of part of the
Yeah.
idea is that he's the Lisan Al Gaib or whatever, and he can see the future a little bit. So he's starting to he's starting to like anticipate actions and you know play 4D chess, and he's also starting to move towards like a revenge plan, a long-term revenge plan. Which
playing checkers, but the Fremens are playing chess.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I think it's like there, and it's also the idea is also kind of that he's starting to unite the different like factions of the Fremen because they're a little bit spread out.
Right, but there's no scene like in Avatar when he goes around.
Right, where he
like, I
and
united
then
all the clans.
Yeah, and then I did the speeches and I united the clans.
But it's like
yeah.
I just was having trouble to get like to kind of grasp that while I was watching it. You know.
Yeah, and part of it is also that Jessica becomes the new Reverend Mother.
Yes.
So she's like, I'm gonna use my influence to like spread Paul's legacy and build him up as like our guy, so that like so that we can start moving towards the sort of the revenge concept.
And
that Paul's into.
I think it's so interesting, the like whole prophecy thing, because it feels more like there's evidence because people believe it. It doesn't go the other way around. It's like a self-fulfilling thing where they're like, you're the thing because we believe hard enough that you are.
Yeah.
And so he's like, it almost makes me think of like Danny McBride in Hot Rod, where he's like holding the TV. He's like, it's a shame that some people would take advantage of a situation like this. And that's just really sad.
And that's
like,
really
it's
sad.
just like where he's
there was
like,
nothing I could
want
do,
revenge, and they think I'm their messiah.
Yeah.
Let me just like
I might
just work with this.
I'm just gonna maybe
I'm
just gonna maybe let them a little. Yeah.
Way more as a concept than definitively he's the chosen
one.
It gives him way more agency.
Yeah, it's not so much that he's. It's not so much that he is the chosen one. It's more that he's been
chosen himself to be that.
He's chosen himself to be that.
Yes.
And he's also been like, because also there's a big part of the what are they called, the Bene Gesserit, the lady that put his hand in the box at the start, like they're influencing everything like behind the scenes, basically.
Right.
So
Where
they've
the little
been
girl's like, I backed up his DNA on the thumb drive that is my belly.
yeah
And
yeah.
then like
So
Florence Pugh's like, what the
what the
like
hell?
she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So like they're they're slowly influencing, like subtly influencing
Yes.
like different bloodlines and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's part of their whole thing
Mhm.
too, and why Paul ends up being the perfect guy to fulfill their prophecies is because they've kind of bred him to be that guy.
Mhm.
um and yeah,
Yeah.
and that's part of their big, like, the whole thing with the box at the start is the test is sorry, I love Dune. But the she says like an animal will chop off its, or gnaw off its leg to escape a trap, but what will you do? And basically the idea is like, we're gonna trap you on Arrakis,
Mhm.
and if you're an animal, you'll just you'll end up killing yourself in this scenario. But if you're a human, you'll endure and survive long enough to potentially get revenge on the person that trapped you. And
Mhm.
that's what we're looking for. We're looking for someone with that type of someone who can endure the pain and suffering
Right.
and become stronger because of it. And that's basically like their plan. Only the only problem is for them that he becomes so powerful that then they can no longer control him by the end.
Yeah.
Because then
I like how out
yeah,
of control it gets, where he's like, I just kind of have to commit to this. I'm the emperor now.
yeah,
Like,
and then he's like, quiet piggy to her.
quiet piggy. What's that?
Oh, that's like a thing that Trump said recently to a reporter asking him a question about something. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, because he's a psychopath.
Weird
Um,
reference. Yeah. But oh, yeah, I have written here.
yeah.
Paul learns he's a Harkonnen and uses this newfound power to tell people how he's related to them. I don't know
Yes.
what else it really does for
Yeah.
the. I know it
Um,
probably has a little bit more effect
it's
on the
there's so
boys.
it's kind of there's some stuff in the book that's a little different because
Yeah.
in the book his sister, who was gonna be Anya Taylor-Joy in the next one, which I'm excited for,
Yes.
she gets born in the time jump, so she's like around in the finale,
Right.
but she's like two
Yeah.
years old.
And I heard that
Yeah,
she kills
and she
the
ends up
Baron.
killing
Yeah.
uh 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 Stellan Skarsgård. So,
Yeah.
which is like very, and she's a fascinating character because she's like 2 years old, but she's like fully conscious and has like all the memories of her ancestors and stuff. And so she's like this little weird baby that that can
Yeah.
is under, has the full memories of her parents and stuff. And anyways, that was obviously like something that like that might be a little too weird for this movie. We're gonna not do it,
I think that
which I'm
there's
like, that's
enough
fair.
things. Yeah, I
That's
think
fair.
that
That
was
might be
an
the right call.
educated choice.
They
Yeah.
do it in the '80s version, and it is wacky.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so there's a little different stuff there. I think it's partly just like, um, oh, I have this dark side in me. Like I'm part
Yeah.
Harkonnen.
Because he's totally like. There's
So
that scene is specifically when he goes to kill the Baron. It reminds me of Star Wars, but
mhm.
from they're the Empire though.
Yeah,
Like he lumbers in like Darth Vader
yeah,
with his big old army to taking out this, like, these people holed up in a little room and they're nothing to them,
mhm.
and then he goes and like kills a guy looking intimidating AF, like,
Mhm.
just
Yeah. It's kind of
all
like,
he's got a cape, he's
yeah,
very Darth
like yeah.
Vader-y. It's
Obviously,
very
Lucas took a lot of stuff from Dune, like
Oh, but they took from the Wizard of
no, yeah, he
Oz. They
took
took
from
from
everything.
like
That
this.
that
Yeah,
was that
Star
was
Wars is just this hodgepodge
yeah,
of story, which is why
yeah,
it's so cool. 'Cause
yeah. That's
it
why I
just
like it. but yeah, there's a ton of stuff where you can see like, oh yeah, this is also clearly an influence here too.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. It comes
um,
back around too, where
yeah.
it's like because the Star Wars movie predates the Dune movie, the
Mhm.
Dune movie can't help but at least have some influence from
Right.
Star
Oh
Wars,
yeah,
just
yeah.
even based on the fact that
Just
the
in
special
aesthetics and
effects to
stuff.
make Dune wouldn't be there without
Hmm.
Star Wars. Like,
For sure.
in just the visual style, I feel like you can't escape that. But
Hmm. But yeah, like I think it's very much the, oh, I'm part. It's very much the like, oh, I'm part Harkonnen.
Mhm.
It's Luke finding out he's Darth Vader's son, but if he also turned to the dark side, and if he did the thing that the Emperor wanted, where he's like,
Right, yeah,
hey, how about you
exactly,
kill Vader and then you can be my new heir? And like, what if Luke did that basically? um,
right.
uh, so yeah, yeah. What did you think of like Paul's kind of dark turn at the end? Were you into that?
Um, yeah, I think that part of me was like, well, what's the like? Is that like a thing that like people don't really vibe with? Like, I'm curious what the
No,
like.
it people. So I think it's great. I love it. In the in initially in
Mhm,
it's they that's one of the kind of changes in the movie is that
mhm.
the movie makes it more clear that Paul is like a villain now in the end.
Yeah, for
Where a
sure.
lot of people read the book when they first read the book, they were like,
Oh
"Yay,
yeah,
Paul did it!" And it's like, no,
yeah.
he's like
No,
started
it
a
feels like
war. Like he's not a good guy now.
it feels like people who
So
misread Fight Club would also think
yeah,
that Paul is the hero,
yeah,
and
exactly.
so I'm glad that that's kind of the way that it's portrayed. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's really cool because it's also just so like morally ambiguous that it's like you just like that he's kind of like doing this villain turn, but like you're still rooting for him the whole time because you've just been with him on this journey. Like
Mhm.
you've been with him on his villain origin story of just like all these terrible things that he's like had to go through. And so like it's like you're like, yeah, you get them, you get your revenge. Like you're kind of like,
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
it, Paul. You become emperor of the universe.
Yeah.
Stop Christopher Walken and
Yeah,
his
yeah. Yeah, well there's like a lot of stuff with
yeah.
well you're like, yeah, they killed Oscar Isaac. I like Oscar Isaac. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah.
And that's like that's what's his name? That's Josh Brolin's perspective. He's like, "Hey, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
I'm
I
on
like that
board
when
for
he's kind of.
Paul becoming a messiah if we get to fuck up the Harkonnens. I hate them."
Oh yeah. That's what I think. I think bringing him back is great because I like that in part one. It's like the fact that that barely anyone makes it out of
Mhm.
Iraq. Is it Arakan the name of the city
The
or
city.
whatever
Oh, what is the
whatever
name
the
of the
city
city?
is?
Arrakis is the planet.
Planet, yeah.
Um,
But whatever the
I
city is,
forget what the
like
city's
barely
called.
anyone. The only people who make it out are like Paul and Jessica, who weren't supposed to be killed in the first place
Mhm.
because of the truth. Like that was, I thought that
Yeah,
was
that was
interesting.
part
It's
of
like we
the.
can't kill them, but we can leave them to
We
die.
can leave them
So
to
it's like they
die.
only make it
Yeah,
out because they can't kill them.
yeah,
And then Duncan makes it out because he's a good fighter, but
yeah.
then he ends up dying anyway.
He dies
And
anyways.
then and then
Yeah,
Josh Brolin makes it out because he's also a good fighter. And
yeah.
so it's like I liked it that was a very real sense of like danger and like
Hmm.
even though there's writing and there's ways to protect characters by writing because you keep alive who you want to keep alive as a writer, but it kept the sense of danger to be very
Hmm.
real.
Yeah,
Um,
and like this is built up a little more in the book, but yeah, specifically Duncan Idaho and uh, I'm forgetting his name, but Josh Brolin's character are said to be two of the greatest fighters in the Dune universe.
yeah, and they're
So
the only two that make it
they've
out.
both
So
trained Paul, so that's part of why
yes,
Paul's such a
yes,
good fighter.
I figured that as well.
Yeah.
That was just something I guess. It's like
Hmm.
if he's the like the leader of this whole clan's like son, and he's like a prince basically,
Hmm.
you would get the best
Yeah.
fighting teacher for
Exactly.
this prince. And
Exactly.
so like you just put it together. Like
Hmm.
it's like at least I did.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I liked it, and I love the moment when he has his like I'm Judah Ben Hur or like I'm Marcus Aurelius
Yeah.
like. That's like he has that
Yeah.
moment, and that moment it always
Apologize.
hits
Yeah.
in movies, especially because it's like the very end of the movie, and you
I'm
know that
Zuko.
they have
I'm
been
Zuko of the Fire Nation,
he's been
Prince of the
working
Fire
under
Nation. Yeah.
various aliases too
Hmm.
throughout the movie, so they don't even know it's him. And
Yeah,
I like,
they don't know that he's necessarily
yeah, and then
heir to
the way that
the throne.
he's like, he's all like, "Oh, I'm Paul Atreides, Duke of Arrakis," and you're like, "Fuck yeah, you are!" like,
Yeah, yeah,
like
it's
go
very hype.
Paul, you got it.
Yeah.
And then
What did you think of Zendaya?
I don't like Zendaya.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
When I watch this movie, she's not the kind of actor where I like. It's like, oh, she really disappears into the role. I'm like, I just
Right.
see
Yeah,
Michelle
that's
Jones
her.
from Spider-Man,
Yeah, Michelle.
and she's like just this brooding teen who's like, oh, religion's dumb. Don't be like that.
Yeah.
Let's make out. And then like at the end, she's like, meh. I'm gonna go be angry at you, and then just leaves. I just didn't. I was like, okay, yeah, you're fine without her. Like you're fine, man. Like,
Clearly,
we don't need her.
clearly you're
You don't
coming up
need
in
her.
the world.
Go blow up the world or whatever you're gonna do. So that's why I wrote
That's
my
funny.
one note is I don't like Zendaya.
That's
And that's
fair.
just like a personal preference thing, but like, you know, I just, and that just is hurt by my experiences with the Spider-Man movies that I'm mixed on her in those movies. And so like,
that's fair.
You know, if I'd seen something like Euphoria, I would be like, oh yes, the range. But for me, I'm just like, eh.
Right. Oh, freaking Michelle again. Enough.
Yeah. I don't know. What did you think?
So again, I'm coming from having read the book between seeing part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So in the book, she's like doesn't have a lot of agency, her character.
Right.
So the fact that they gave her like some personality, some agency, she actually disagrees with Paul in some cases, and I'm like, oh, that's actually really interesting.
I felt like it was a natural, like, you know, kind of.
I kind of was into their. I was kind of into their romance, which again, that happens during the time skip in the books. You're like, oh, I guess they're together now.
Yeah, no, that's a much better way of doing it, because it feels very much like, you know, like a classic like adventure action movie where it's like, yes, we're in the middle of this like war, life death crisis, and then there's like, you know, a romance, because that's just what humans are like. It's just very human, you know, to have something like that. I have the scene at the very end with the whole. There's this one bit at the end, and it reminded me of something, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then once I figured it out, I made a side-by-side video, and this is exclusive.
Ooh.
I haven't released this on YouTube yet. So I'm gonna send this to you right now.
Oh, right now? Oh,
right now.
A live reaction?
I want to get your live reaction.
Can I pull it up?
Put it on the screen.
I'll put it. Yeah, I guess I'll do that in editing.
Yeah,
but I
want your live reaction to this.
Oh, this is exciting.
So this is the scene from the end of Dune compared to something where a character and something else has to choose between her boyfriends. And I didn't do any editing. I just put them next to each other. And there's certain things that line up that I think are hilarious.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. Okay, so you just texted this to me.
Yes, this is exclusive.
It's an exclusive
Patty D edit. Hit the internet yet. Okay. So no one's seen this yet but you. Because it's not perfect, but I feel like tonally it matches, and I think it's funny. Okay. So 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, this is very good. Yeah, the cuts like almost work perfectly.
Meredith?
If I just lay here,
would you all the like looks between each of them?
Yeah.
Just look
so
at the world.
That's so good.
Yes.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, so they both end on the shot of the protagonist as well. And
who's
so
like, oh, did I make the right call? Yeah. That's great. I love it. Yes.
So I'll throw that in there. So.
It is 100% that.
Yes. And so I think it's hilarious because I know it's very different, obviously, but.
Yeah, no, I that's another change from the book. In the book, Johnny Zendaya is a little more on board with everything.
Okay.
And
she just like sticks around.
Yeah, she just sticks around.
Piece, like...
And Paul's and I think Jessica has a moment with her where she's like, "Oh, don't worry, like this is like a political marriage. It's not. He's not actually into her. History will remember you as a wife." And but I kind of like it's like, oh, I kind of like the change in the movie where it's like, oh, we can do like a betrayal here. That's more interesting
Yes,
thematic. And
yes,
then that also
exactly.
like solidifies like, oh, Paul is not a good guy at this point. Like
No,
he's making choices for revenge and for power, and he had the chance at being happy and being with the person that he loves, and he's choosing to neglect her. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
So I like it, but yes, it is. It is very. Oh no, not the. Which girl do I be with?
Yeah. So that was
um,
the.
so yeah, I love that. Uh, 10 out of 10 edit.
Thank you. Yes, and that's what's fun about it too is that I did very little because of how things are just naturally paced
Yeah,
in when
there's
you're bringing into movies or TV. So
there
I
seems to be a natural like pacing to some stuff.
yeah, yeah, and the main difference is that holds on the shots longer in
Mm,
Dune, and that's just the nature of I
mm,
think the Villeneuve style and that kind of thing.
yeah.
And like
And the
the other
song
ones like it's
they have to time it to the Hans Zimmer score instead of the
instead of chasing cars by
yeah.
Foot Patrol.
so the cuts are a little different.
Yeah.
both both equally some of Earth's finest compositions. Um, did you have any other notes on Dune?
Um, I think I think those were yeah those were my main notes. I think I've got through all the things. Did you have any other conclusions or anything? Because I just I like it and I'm excited for the next one. I think it's cool that this got made. I'm
Mhm.
excited this got made at all. So
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. It was very. That was another thing that was satisfying about seeing them as they released was like part one came out and it was like still during COVID and it was like
Mhm.
we hope this does well because we'd love to make part two and it was like
Yeah.
this is I hope they make part two and it made I guess just enough money for them to make another one.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was
Mhm.
exciting. So yeah, I'm very excited for part three. That's supposed to be this
Mhm.
year. Um, yeah, I
Doomsday.
Doomsday. I could see the trailer in my mind because I've read the book.
You've read the book, yeah.
um,
It's been X amount of
it's
time
been this
since.
many times since last Dune. Oh, here's this
A
character. Oh,
billion
here's this.
people are
Here's a
dead.
hint at this returning character that you thought was dead, but oh, maybe they're back.
Wait, what?
What? Here's
Oh, because
yeah.
there's certain characters that are that's annoying. Yeah.
Here's Anya
Well,
Taylor Joy. She's in the movie now.
you vaguely hinted at that in the later books. There's like all these like clone
Yeah,
shenanigans
there's a
that get
bunch of
kind of
clone
involved.
shenanigans in some of the later books, which are hilarious, and
Yeah,
I love it. Um,
yeah. That is hilarious. I think it fits with the Benny Jesuits or whatever.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of wacky stuff in this universe that
Yeah.
like we only kind of hint at in the first book, and we see more of in the next one. And then there's like even more insane stuff later, which from what I understand, Denis Villeneuve's just doing this next one,
He's
which will
just
be
he's doing yeah. I
which will
recently
be
watched something. Yeah.
adapting Dune Messiah, which is the second book, and then there's like four more books after that,
Yeah, yeah.
which is like I'd love him to do more, but he wants to do other stuff, and that's fair.
Yeah,
I'm
He said he's committed to doing the trilogy, and he's
mhm,
like, if I still like feel it, I'll keep going. But
mm,
I don't know if I will because
yeah,
this is the story. I'm just gonna do one movie at a time and like make the movie I want to make.
yeah,
You know.
and that's a lot of work to do, to spend almost 10 years. Well, in my mind, it's almost 10 years. So I'm like three movies times 2 to 3 years
It's 10
each.
years.
It's
Yeah,
probably
it's basically 10 years.
close
Yeah.
to 10 years total. So I get it. I'm not. I'd love him to keep going, but if he gets tired, that's fair. That's a human emotion.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what'll happen after that if they continue
Yeah.
with
I guess you just
other
have to read all the books
directors or
and be
whatever.
disappointed, or
Yeah.
I don't know how good
Um,
they are.
but yeah. But yeah, very excited for part 3. That's all. That was
Yeah.
a long way of me saying that. Anything
Okay,
else
well,
you want to
no,
know?
I think I'm good. I kind of have to get going,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, this was fun. Thanks for the Dune thing discussion, and yeah, that's I don't know how you want to end this. What if you have any final arguments or points? No, it's good stuff.
Not
I'd say
really.
it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
It's
good.
good
It's a good
stuff.
movie.
That's my conclusion. It's
Yeah.
good stuff.
I like Denis Villeneuve is a good director.
Yes,
Uh,
makes good
that's
stuff.
that's my thoughts. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching or whatever. Subscribe or something, and we'll see you in the next one maybe. Bye bye.